Marko Verdes, and I'm gonna be talking about getting the basics right. Okay, they didn't have anybody else to do it, so I volunteered and said, "Look, I'm gonna start." Right? So myself, a little bit. Marko Verdes, 30 years as an integrity inspection. I worked in Shell Motiva for 24 years, and since last year I moved out and I'm working with Cenosco now. So very excited to be here. Appreciate the opportunity, and I did a lot of things throughout my career, and hopefully I can share some of that knowledge and some of the experiences with you. So for the agenda, what is integrity culture? So this is one thing that is very important for me and probably for all of you, and why it matters. Okay, so we're gonna touch a little bit on that. Getting the basics right. There's really multiple ways of doing things, right? But if you don't have the basics right, then you're gonna struggle. Okay. The next thing we're gonna be doing is connecting data, connecting people. Okay. That's one of the challenges that you see. You're gonna have a lot of data, but then how you connect all this and how you connect the people, right? We got a little software called IMS that it really helps connecting people. We are gonna talk about smarter work, how we work smarter, how we use the technology, and what are the strong values to get this done. Talk a little bit about the summit and the people that are coming behind, and the importance of paying attention, being in the moment, being here, right, and participate. Ask questions, right? And I give you a few takeaways as well. So, what is integrity culture and why it matters? Anybody? I'm gonna start pointing fingers so you can. So, why do you think it's important, to have a good integrity culture at your company? Anybody? Michelle, how are you? Thank you, Michelle.
Safety.
Safety. Good. Good. Who else? Why do you think integrity culture is important? Why it matters?
If you don't have the culture, you don't have a strategy. The strategy won't work.
No.
So you need to have the culture. You need to have people understanding and believing in it.
Absolutely. Anybody else? One more.
Utilization will go down slowly in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's many things, right? But the key is it takes everyone. It's not just one discipline. It's not just one team doing something. It takes everyone, okay, in the organization to be aligned, okay. Challenge each other, right? But it takes everyone to be reliable and have a good program. You need to break the silos, okay? So it's very important to communicate, okay? Everybody's, you have a PI, pressure equipment team, they're doing their own thing. Then you have process safety. Then you have, mechanical rotating, electrical instrumentation. Everybody doing their own thing. So you need to really break the silos and communicate with the production team, with, the whole organization, maintenance, turnaround projects. Embed integrity, okay? This is very important because you need to switch, okay, the mindset. I went to a site and I was doing an audit in the site, and I can see brand new insulation and people walking on top of that just to reach something. Brand new insulation, all messed up, just because they were walking on top of the insulation. So you need to, stop the work and say, well, what the hell are you doing, right? So why you, walking on top of insulation when it's brand new, right? Even if it was old, you should not be walking on top of a piping that is insulated. You don't know what is on there, right? So very important, you need to embed that. And the sites that I've seen that they did better, they created this one page or something. They went to the control rooms, they gave it to the operators and said, look, if you see something like this, give us a call, right? So it needs to be embedded in the culture. And of course, when something leaks, right? Hopefully you guys don't have that many leaks, but if it leaks, okay, there's always the question, who missed it, okay? Why it was missed, right? I remember going to, many years ago where I worked, going to a control room and Marko, why you missed it, right? So I don't know, maybe it was a flash that it's open, right? So maybe I didn't miss it. But it's always okay, who missed this leak? Instead of saying, okay, how about we learn from this? How about we analyze what happened, what was the degradation, we were expecting it or not, and then do something about it. And what I've seen, I was lucky enough to travel a lot with the previous company, and I visited a lot of sites. And what I noticed for all the top performing sites, everyone that was a performing site, they have a really good asset integrity program, but it was part of their culture. It was ingrained in their culture. They all believe that it could be doable, that you can achieve goal zeros and things like that. So, but it was part of the culture. For us to getting things right, okay, we need to go back to the basics. And of course, there's many things that can be done, okay? But I put a few here, so I put 6 of them. Lead by example, okay? So don't just say it, you need to do it as well, okay? That's very important. Communicate, have open communication, be honest, right? If you miss something, you miss it, okay? But don't hide it, okay? So you need to be very open and honest. Empower, speak up culture. In one of the sites, I remember a new GM came in, and he was a true believer that you can go safe to your house every day. He expected 0 safety incidents, right? And he gave the authority to everybody to stop work. They even gave you a little, thing that said, hey, I have the right to stop work. So, and you won't believe how much safer that place became, just because it was expected that if it was unsafe, you didn't do it. You stopped the work. There was no hurry to get that thing done unless it was safe. So it's really important to empower the people, okay, to communicate, and don't be afraid to communicate. The other thing is set clear expectations, okay? Remember my friend George Duhon from Marko Refinery. The expectation was very simple: 0 overdue. We don't want to have overdue, but not because we're going to push it. No, we're going to get the job done. Okay, we're going to do it right, but the expectation is 0 overdue. Okay, so around the 15th of each month, George used to come with a piece of paper. I said, Marko, why you still have 3 RVs that have not been inspected? No, we do it next week or whatever. But he was always, okay, there, checking, making sure that you got the resources, because you need to have clear expectation, but it needs to be realistic, okay? If you don't get the resources, then you might not be able to achieve those goals. So it was very important, and when we said, George, look, we need NDT crew need to stay overtime or whatever, he gave us the resources to get the job done. So the expectations were clear. On top of that, we got the resources. That was very important. The next thing is build a strong community, okay? When I was in Shell, I think we did a really good job in Shell and everybody involved to really build a community and really try to bring ideas, knowledge, shared knowledge between the sites, okay? And a strong community helps you, because I see a lot of sites struggling, okay? It's the same company, but they're doing things differently, and you see that sometimes that they could learn from the other one that is right next to it, okay? And they're not using that knowledge, that power. So you really need to have a strong community that will help you. Close the loops, okay, on findings. Sometimes they find an issue and then it's there. Nobody reacts, nobody follow up. So what is the thing that you need to do? Follow up, you inspect it, okay, make a decision. Do you need to repair? Do you need to follow up? Do you need to do something, okay? But just follow up, close the loop. Have a learning mindset, that's very important. Learn from the things that you see. The last one, to me, that is, getting to the basic, is gonna be the audits and health checks, okay? The sites that had the best, asset integrity and reliability, they were not afraid to be audited. They were not afraid to, share information and show to the auditors, hey, this is what we're doing, okay? So I have a really good friend of mine from Sarnia Refinery, Paul Benedictus. So when we did the audit, they welcomed us. They gave me like a 5-pound chocolate bar. So that helped. That gave them a couple of points. was a handshake, right? So it was no a catch you event or we found this big deal. No, it was about, okay, how we can help you be successful. So when you do audits, like we were there for 2 weeks, interviewing a lot of people, they were happy that we were there because they knew that we're gonna find things and then we're gonna help them, okay, with the actions and the follow-up to get better. So that's the mentality. You need to be open to, questions, you need to be open, okay? And the best sites are those that welcome those kind of audits and help checks. So, connecting people, connecting data means connecting people. What we mean with that is very important, okay? When we have a lot of information, okay, and if we don't share it with the right people, then you struggle. One of the things we did with IMS, we created what we call the IMS PI viewer. Basically, we allow anybody that wanted to see PI data to go in and look at it. A couple sites didn't like it just because they said, Marko, now operation is calling me, or maintenance is calling me, why are we doing this inspection that is not you, or things like that. On the other hand, a lot of sites said, this is really good, because now I don't need to be calling them, I just give them access, and they go, they look at all the attachment, they look at all the information. So making sure that the data talk with them, you need to break those silos. The next one is walk the data together. So it's very important to work with the production team, work with process, other departments, right? The turnaround group, okay? What are the challenges? Try to work together and analyze what's going on. And the other thing that was very important for me was assign data custodians. So it doesn't read that well, but the point is, who's responsible for this information? Is that the unit inspector? Is that the supervisor? But you need to make people accountable, okay? Otherwise, the quality drops, no doubt. So when you empower somebody, but you say, look, this is your responsibility. This is your data. They are going to be accountable. So then the quality improves. So, smarter work, start with strong values. Digital projects are all over the company, right? Everybody's talking digital, everybody's going digital, okay? However, it needs to be tied to a value proposition, okay? That digitalization needs to improve your way of working. Otherwise, it's useless, right? So I see a lot of sites or companies trying to go digital, but now it takes 3 times longer than it was before. So it needs to be a value proposition for the digitalization. You need to challenge the shortcut mentality. What that means is no shortcuts, okay? If it takes a little longer, it takes a little longer. But you definitely need to get it right, and whatever it takes. And the last one, you need to build a why culture. So it's very important to always challenge yourself. Am I getting this right? Am I doing this inspection in the frequency that it should be doing? So I remember one case, they were doing inspection of drip pans every year. Every year, the drip pans were inspected in that platform. And then we asked the question, why? Nobody knew why. There was no really good reason to do that inspection, but it was done every year. It was in SAP, right? So we challenged that. We changed it to a 5-year with the RBI analysis, and we changed it to 5 years. The other one was a relief valve, PSB, in 3 years. Clean service, there was really no history of fouling or issues, nothing. 3 years, why 3? Why not 6? Why not 5, okay? So you always need to be challenging yourself. When you see an interval, when you see an assessment, why is this assessment done like this, okay? Remember a good friend of mine, Tom Wiley, he always said, when you do RBI, you need to leave crumbs, right? Leave those pieces of information that then can be used by somebody else. So, we have a big day today, a lot of people, that's really good. We have Romain, is going to be talking about lean principles. It's reality, right? So we've been asked to do more every day with less, okay? So Romain is going to be talking about that. Jocelyn is going to be talking about asset life extension, doing the right way, not pushing dates. Marcel is going to be talking about integrity in the fast-changing world. Martin is going to be talking about REI strategy and how you can, get a better strategy, and sometimes you might not even need to go inside the equipment. And Fred is going to be talking about on-stream inspections and non-intrusive. Justin is going to give a masterclass on smarter asset integrity. Hey, that's what they told me you'd be doing. I've been taking notes for sure. Hans is going to be making sense of the digital twins, right? So there's a lot of really good, powerful softwares out there that show a lot of data. Hans is going to be explaining a little bit of that. Martin is going to be taking us through the journey of time on data-driven integrity. Jerome is going to show us a business case and proof of concept, okay, how to do IMS RCM implementation and doing it the right way. Christos is going to be talking about the aging asset, okay, and how to tackle those aging assets using risk-based principles. Fabrice is going to be talking about beyond reliability and life cycle multi-dimensional strategy. And Marnix is going to be leading the panel discussion. So, key takeaways. I got 4 key takeaways. Integrity culture is built on everyday actions. Okay, corrosion doesn't go to sleep, right? So it takes every day. You need to keep doing it. Okay. It's everyone's responsibility. It's not just one person. It's not just one department. You really need to go and get everybody involved. So it's everyone's responsibility. Connecting data is very important to know what the data is trying to tell you. What are you seeing with that information? So very important to connect the dots. Last one, smarter ways of working. So technology is going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to get better, but you still need to think. You still need to see how you use that technology, okay? For one of the slides, because I did a lot of slides and then I removed some, and for one of the slides I wanted to see, I worked in 1997 in the Panama Canal, inspecting the cranes, right? And I have a clipboard with me, and of course I dropped the clipboard, and just like the movies, the thing was like that, and I was hoping that it lands on the ground, but no, it went to the water, right? So then I had to go and get all that information back, a little extra work. But I wanted to get a picture of the Panama Canal cranes. Those are 60, 70-ton cranes to lift the containers. And so I went to my assistant, ChatGPT, and said, hey, I need this a crane, just show me a couple pictures. And Chat, was taking time and time. I said, what the hell? I said, hey, what's going on? No, we're busy. It takes time to develop a picture. I said, I just need a picture of, the cranes in the Panama Canal. And after a while, I said, come on, Chat, it shouldn't be that difficult. And guess what ChatGPT told me? Anybody? Marco, we're a little busy here. How about you research and Google Panama Canal crane? So it took me 5 minutes with ChatGPT going back and forth, and he said, hey, how about you Google that? Okay, thank you, Chat. The point I'm trying to make is that, yeah, technology is advancing. Technology is going to keep getting better. Things are going to be more and more powerful. However, you need to know when to take certain information and when to challenge that. So that's the why culture. Why is this, the information, is this correct? Because there is a lot of information there that might be, misleading you. So with this, that's all I have for you today.